My friend was a virgin his entire life. He could literally never get a girl no matter what the case was. And the thing is, it's because of the things he was doing, going all the way back to when we first started hanging out. We were literally together at all times, always doing everything together. And there was one day we went out to this sort of like fair place. It was like this place with roller coasters and whatnot. And we decided to pretty much walk around this park. We were going to ride some rides, eat some food, do whatever, anything you would do at a normal theme park. And as we were going around, we kept running into girls. Like there were girls from our school that we would see. We would say hi to them. But one thing that I noticed that was a huge difference between me and him is I was always confident. He would always tell me after any interaction with any girl that they don't like him and he doesn't have any chance and everything of that sort, So as we kept walking around, I noticed more and more, no matter who it was, no matter what girl it was, anytime we would encounter a girl, they would look at me first and they would give me the attention. And I don't say this to sound like I have an ego. I say this to teach you a lesson. He actually looked really good. And I feel like he didn't understand it. Like literally like in his face, he had like a good facial structure. He didn't have the best style, but there was just something off about him that made girls kind of like repel away from him. And I feel like so many young guys deal with this. They don't understand how important it is to carry yourself the right way. But eventually we ran into this one girl who was extremely attractive, by the way, very attractive. And I noticed when she came up to us, she didn't just come up to us. She specifically went up to him. It wasn't something where she was trying to talk to us as a group. She was literally going to talk to him specifically. Next thing I know, I kind of back away. I was like, I'm going to let him do his thing. He just was talking about how he was struggling with this. So like, I might as well back off and just like not even show my face, not even be around this. So I walked away, as I was thinking was the best thing to do. And within 5 minutes, they come back to me and it's both of them walking side by side and he's looking at me in a face of like despair and like sadness. And this is like so many young guys I see today. So many guys that want to find love and they want to be in a relationship, they're just doing the wrong things. Like I literally have like a free email list, for example, in my description where you can join it for self-improvement, literally free. And anytime I mention it, there's like a few hundred guys that join out of like thousands of guys that see my videos. And that should go to show you that it's more about intention in the way that you act than the way that you look for a lot of people. A lot of people have attraction deep down. They just don't understand it. But as they came up to me, they basically looked at me and I could tell he had like a really saddened face on his look on his face. And I was like, why is he looking at me like this? But then it clicked in my head. He basically landed himself in the brother zone. And I feel like a lot of guys don't know about this, but there's 2 zones you get landed in whenever you talk to a girl, or there's actually 3, maybe even 4, but I'll just stick to the 2 most important ones that the average guy lands in. So the first one is the creep. It's literally the guy that girls are afraid of. Like if a girl saw you in a public setting, she would like grab her purse, like speed walk away from you. That's the farthest thing that you want to be, and I would argue that no guy deserves to be here. Even if you look bum ugly, you should not be here. If you land here, it's actually your fault, and I'm saying this to help you. I'm not saying this to hurt you, because nobody has to land here. Now, the other category that's, I would say, less in your control is the little brother category. But this is still a possibility. It's still in this control of yours, but you have to do certain things. Now, the reason I bring this up is because my friend would always land like a mix in between these 2. I felt so bad about it because he shouldn't have done this. Like he looked good enough to just get like the average girl, above average girls, but he would never say the right things or have the right hand motions or do the right things. And it just so happened, like I said, I don't say this with ego at all, but anytime we would be together, he was so self-conscious and so, he lacked the way of carrying himself so hard that girls would instantly turn to me. It wasn't anything that I was doing that was special or anything like that, not even the way that I looked, because this is before I got on self-improvement and started improving my looks in every way. But when they would look at me, they just instantly were looking at me as like a scapegoat to get away from this guy. And I don't say this to harm him either. This is why I would never say his name, because he's truly a friend of mine and we worked on this together. I helped him and eventually things went a lot better, which I'll talk about later. But So this girl comes up, and as she's looking at me, she starts talking to me. We start a brief conversation as my friend is looking at me in like his despaired, like sad look. And I start talking to her, and very quickly, I accidentally said the right things. I wasn't not trying to get this girl attracted to me whatsoever. That was not the goal. I just so happened to say the right things at the right time and have the right body language and confidence. And me not wanting this girl, and basically me letting my friend get this girl, is why she became so attracted to me. And like I said, this is before I looked decent. I was like genuinely kind of ugly at this point, but I was carrying myself in a way of extreme confidence. And the thing is, if you're ever in a friend group where, that one guy is kind of like made fun of and he's always like the butt of the joke, I feel like we all have that. And I really, for your sake, hope that that's not you. But there's always people who are like the butt of the joke, and I feel like that's what my friend was at the time. But when we were together, I never made him feel that way. I would always make him feel as if we were equal, because in my eyes we were, and we still are. But in friend groups and in any social setting, there's always this hierarchy when you really think about it. So the thing is, based on where you sit in this hierarchy is pretty much how you're going to be treated by girls. Because in a very large group setting at this time, like I said, I still wasn't attractive at all. So I was never the first option up until I worked on a few things that I'll talk about later that actually landed me to be one of the first options. And especially now in my life, when I'm in a group setting, usually I'm the one who ends up with the girl. Once again, I say this without ego. I say it genuinely because of something that I learned that I feel like most guys never hear. I feel like to an extent we're all kind of lied to and like fed this lie, like, oh, just be a nice guy. Like I wish I could tell you that. But what kind of disservice would I be doing to you if I told you a lie that's just simply not true? Besides the point, as she was talking to me, she began flirting with me without me trying to give anything back to her. I was trying to let her talk to the hand, literally. But over time, more and more, she eventually pretty much gave in, and I noticed her body language shifted. Like I said, initially when she was going up to my friend, her body language was directly towards him. She had no interest in me, but now she wouldn't even face his direction with her body. Now, don't get me wrong, and this is where most people get caught up. She was still talking to him, and she was still looking in his direction occasionally. But when you look at somebody's body language and it's always turned towards you, you just know that they don't care about the other person. This is a girl's or even a guy's subconscious mind of telling them that they don't like you. If you're in a group setting, you might have noticed this before with some guys, because I know a lot of guys watching this probably haven't had scenarios with girls like this. But if you're in a group setting with some guys, you'll notice that the guy at the top of the hierarchy, everyone points towards him. It's almost like a circle with like a bullseye where he stands here just doing nothing. No matter what he says, there's always like the feet or the bodies turned towards him. And even if you're in the same room, but you're not even like circled together standing or anything, you're just sitting, you'll notice that some of the guys will just subtly point towards him. This is a subconscious thing, but the more you notice it, this is how you can actually tell where you are in the hierarchy. And a good example is if you're in a friend group and the main friend, the top guy, because realistically, everyone has this group leader. And it's a funny joke that was made up and went viral all over social media, TikTok, everything about having this group leader. But realistically, when you really boil it down, there usually is an actual group leader. Like genuinely, you need to figure out who this person is and understand why, because as soon as you do, your life gets a lot easier. So the point being is whenever the top guy of your hierarchy leaves, there's actually a second person in line, and then you'll notice everybody starts pointing towards him. So let's say you have a group of 5 people and the group leader, if you want to call it that, leaves the group. Out of those 4 people, usually one person will be like the center of attention. But then occasionally what will happen is once it gets down to the trio, the dynamic changes. Once that 4th person leaves and now it's 3 people, like a trio, it shifts completely. What actually happens is one person is left out while the other 2 friends just get along and do whatever. And this is where it's so sad, and I just don't feel good saying this, but I would be doing you a disservice to not tell you the truth. That one friend who doesn't get paid attention to, if you've never had love in your life, you might be that friend. If you notice that you're in a group of 3 people and you're always the one on the back of the sidewalk, you might be that friend. Now the thing is, most people would say that you're just naturally placed here. It's not some natural thing, though. You can have control over this. And I noticed this exact scenario. So when we were in bigger groups with this girl, by the way, any girl scenario that was similar, instead of me being the first option whenever the group leader would leave, it would always be the next guy, because I actually wasn't high in the hierarchy of the friend group. And then later on, it ended up going down. But the whole point I'm trying to make is, I guess, to get back to the story, is now this girl became obsessed with me, and my friend lost all attraction to her. Like, she literally did not care for him whatsoever. So we went on that entire day, and as sad as I hate to say it, I eventually became more and more attracted to this girl because she was giving me so much attention and she would not get off of me. She was looking at me in a way that I haven't really seen other girls look at me at this time because I hadn't focused on attraction. But as the day went on, it got to the point where it was sunset and we were about to go home. And this girl, her body language was so attached to me, it was unlike anything I've ever seen. Her hand would be sitting on my shoulder and she'd be pushing me whenever she laughs. But the thing is, it goes back to the way that he was acting, my friend. It wasn't because I did something so right. It's because he did stuff so wrong. So if I were to explain why you end up in these situations, why you never have a girl, and why you're at the bottom of the hierarchy of any group that you're in, it comes down to attraction. Now, attraction means many different things, but I say this in all of my videos. You might have heard it before, but it's a really new thing that I've discovered more and more of, where attraction is simply how easy you get things out of life when you think about it. Like, genuinely think about attraction, because most people, when they hear that, they think attractive guys get girls. That's the only thing that goes through their head, but that's not actually what attraction is. Of course, that's a part of it, but attraction literally means everything in your life becomes easier. And this is why it's so important to get on self-improvement. Now, when I started looking into looks and like attraction and everything like this, that's when I saw the most success. This is where I went in the hierarchy from being towards the middle bottom to being the top of the hierarchy. And once again, I actually don't have a main friend group right now, but at one point with a new friend group that I met recently, this was the case. Anytime we ran into girls, they would look at me, they would point towards me. And the reason is because I focused on these things that no one else does. But when I started focusing on attraction, my life changed so much, because around the same time of this girl kind of being interested in me and like this whole story that I'm telling you, I started really leaning into learning about looks, because when you think about attraction, there's many things other than looks that go into it, but it starts at the baseline of looks. You can't get to the other things without starting with looks, which is why it's so important. So after this scenario happened, I genuinely felt bad. Even though I kind of let my heart get the best of me with this girl, I didn't give her so much attention that I ended up talking to her after this whole like carnival event type thing. But I talked to my friend, and I essentially told him front to back, like, things that he should start working on so that girls actually take him seriously. And they started to work. As soon as he started to look better, he didn't only just look better, but his confidence showed that. When we were in social scenarios now, he wasn't the bottom of the hierarchy anymore. And it came down to looks. The thing is, me and my friend started working on these things at the same time. And as I did it, I went viral on social media. The minute I started focusing on my looks, I made a viral video, and all I was doing was looking at the camera. This is what I mean when I say attraction is so important. When people look at you, you don't even have to be the most attractive guy. You just have to carry yourself like you are while working on your looks, because when you have some level of improvement in your looks, this is what gives you the confidence. It's not about being the best. It's about improving yourself as much as possible, which will make you feel the best. Because realistically, there will always be somebody better looking than you. But the better looking you can be, the easier life will be, which is why I blew up on social media. Later on, starting a brand that made me millions of dollars in high school, and that's not even this brand. This is my brand, Simpletics. And when I made this, it does 7 figures plus revenue, and I started it 1 year ago. This business makes me millions of dollars, and it all stems around helping get young guys look better, as well as the initial problem of helping myself. Before I started my brand Simpletics, I started another one called Clean Cut Cosmetics that actually did 7 figures in the first year while I was in high school, solely based around looks. Because I know how important it is, and every guy has a deep-rooted insecurity of the way that they look, whether they admit it to you or not. And the thing is, I don't want you to be stuck in this category. I stand out, and I'm willing to expose myself and be humiliated online if it comes down to it. People watching my videos, friends from my high school seeing this and being like, this guy is weird. But when you really think about it, I'm the one who ended up with the best life out of all of my friends. Like, genuinely. From high school, the people who used to make fun of me for focusing on attraction now text me asking if they can work for my brand Simpletics. I've helped transform people one-on-one, where I basically give them like a protocol to follow, like do this to your skin, use beta-carotene, bioastaxanthin, lycopene, like these supplements. It sounds really random, but like taking supplements to get tanner, and like subtle changes like teeth whitening and using these certain types of eye drops that make your eyes look better. And it's very specific and it sounds girly. And oftentimes guys call me gay for talking about this, but I'm completely fine with that, because the same guys that consider this sort of thing, focusing on attraction, gay, are the same ones who text me today asking to work for me. And I don't say this as a way to flex on you. I say this as a way to genuinely help you. If I didn't see people like this, there was this one creator who I stumbled upon who was making videos kind of like what I'm making right now. And he essentially gave advice on how to look better and everything like this. And it changed my life because I found it at such a young age. See, the thing is, I ended up in this crazy apartment with a successful business and 3 million plus followers because I focused on these things and I was willing to be made fun of. So the bottom line is, if you haven't found love, it starts with attraction, whether you like to think that or not. There's something that I actually learned recently called beta buxing. It's such a dumb, like, brain rot term when you think of it. But like when you really think about what beta buxing is, I'll explain it. It's essentially guys who are ugly and not attractive becoming rich or famous or something. And then they'll end up getting the girl that they want. They'll end up getting the girl that every guy wants. But the issue is that girl doesn't truly respect him because he hasn't worked on himself and his physical appearance. Because there's a difference, once again, between being the most attractive and seeing the difference between starting to actually try to improve your attraction. So I have a free email list, once again. And the funniest part about this is all the guys watching this are sitting there twiddling their thumbs like, you want to improve. And I know there's some of you out there who genuinely want to. If that's you, join my free email list. But if you think that trying to improve yourself for free, like joining a free list, is too much effort, click off right now. This is genuinely just not the place for you. I'm trying to seed your mind with what made me so successful at a young age. And if you can't see this, I have no takes. I have no script. I'm sitting here in my kitchen of my apartment in the dark just trying to help you. The reason you haven't found love is because you haven't worked on your attraction. It's that simple. And the worst part about it, and what sucks the most, is that if you never begin to focus on your attraction, you will be stuck in the beta buxing position. You will literally be stuck in this position where even when you get the girl that you want, she won't fully respect you. And that's the part that sucks the most, because they won't say it, but you need to look at actions and not words. I've met many girls who talk about personality over looks, and there are some out there who think this. But realistically, there's not a single person on the planet who doesn't think looks are somewhat important. It's not the case. And that's like, you just don't see this occur. And that's why it's so important to actually focus on these things. And the most important thing, and this is kind of going off the initial topic of the video, but if you want to attract people, you need to focus on your attraction. And it sounds so simple, but so many people just don't seem to get this simple concept. Start by improving your looks. That is the building block of attraction. And then you work on the other things, or maybe you can do them all at once. But if you aren't focusing on your looks somewhat, I'm sorry, but you're being left behind. You have been lied to. When every girl says they just want you for your personality, why do you think they would say that? It makes them feel good. And guys do the same thing too. I know so many guys, realistically, it's them letting themselves down. It's essentially admitting defeat. Because if you could snap your fingers and have the attractive girl, or the girl have the attractive guy, they would do it. Because there's people out there who have everything going for them, not just looks. And that's the part that people seem to misconstrue and get wrong all the time. People act like if you're attractive, you can't have other traits. But that's the whole point of self-improvement. You work on your entire self, not just your looks. But if you want to look better, I highly suggest joining my free email list below. You can get Simplex if you want to focus on your hair. But genuinely, there's nothing more helpful than just working on yourself in some way. Whether it's going to the gym, drinking more water, looking into skincare, watching more videos like this. If you want to help yourself, you can. But I can't help the people out there who aren't willing to at least do something for free. For free, there's nothing I can do for you. But that being said, if you want to find love, start doing this first, and I'm telling you, you will become a magnet over time. I won't give you an exact time frame because that would be dishonest. It might take months, it might take a year. I don't know how long it will take for you, but when you self-improve, you attract. You become attractive, aka your life gets easier. If you want an easy life, simply work on that, and it'll come to you.